Dear viewers, welcome to another video in the series of Minitab tutorials. In one of our previous videos, I have explained about interval plot, which is a graphical representation to compare and study the confidence interval for mean. How does the confidence interval can be graphically compared and studied? But that interval plot do not give us an option to compare confidence interval for median. So in today's video, we will understand how to graphically analyze the confidence interval for median. Let's get into the video. Friends, as I was explaining in the introduction part, the interval plot is a graphical representation to analyze confidence interval of mean. So we can graphically see what is the confidence interval of mean for a given set of data. So to understand that, let's click on graph. Let's go to interval plot. I keep my mouse pointer here. Plot the mean and the associated confidence interval. Plot the mean and associated confidence interval for one or more groups of data. So let me click on it. Let me select the simple interval plot. Anyway, I have given a video on interval plot separately. I will share the description. I will share the link of that video. So if I click on this and if I say OK, you will be able to see the average getting plotted. And along with that, you will be able to see the confidence interval, 95% confidence level. With 95% confidence level, what will be the appropriate confidence interval for the mean? So the meaning is the sample average will fall here and the population average can fall from this line till this line. Anywhere between these two lines, you can have the population average. And this is the upper bound of your confidence interval, right? Which is 6.20. And the lower bound of your confidence interval is 5.74. So this is how the interval plot works. And this is for one set of data. And if you want to do the same thing for multiple sets of data, what we can do, we can click on graph, we can go to interval plot. And in interval plot, I can select y1, y2, and then I can say OK. And as I say OK, I can select Taylor 1, I can select Taylor 2, I can select these two data. And as I select these two data, I can click OK. And it will give me a comparison of the confidence interval. So where is the confidence interval for the first set of data and where is the confidence interval for second set of data? So we'll be able to understand this using the interval plot. Just to go one step further, so if you see here, the upper bound is 6.20, and here for the second set of data, the lower bound will be 6.50. So what we can do is we can minimize the graph, and in Minitab, if you press Ctrl E, it will take you to the previous window. So here what I do, I go to scale, and in scale reference line, in my y-axis, I am trying to draw two lines. One will be at 6.20, which is nothing but the upper bound of the confidence interval for mean for one set of data, and 6.50, which is nothing but the lower bound of the confidence interval for another set of data. And as I enter these two values and click OK, I will be able to see that the confidence interval of these two data points are not overlapping. So one of the important things that we will understand in hypothesis testing is we will try to collect sample data. From that sample data, we will calculate sample statistics. And for that sample statistics, we will try and create a confidence interval with an appropriate confidence level, and generally it will be 95%. So then we will see whether the confidence intervals are overlapping or not. And if they overlap, then we will conclude that these two sets of data come from the same population. And if they don't overlap, then we will conclude that these two sets of data may come from two different populations, because their averages, in fact their population averages, are not overlapping with each other, right? So this is a very good graphical representation to explain the same concept. One thing that we need to be very clear, for us to do this analysis, our data should be normally distributed, because the 95% confidence interval that get calculated here is with the assumption that this data is normally distributed, right? Okay, great. So now what we will do is, all this is fine when we are dealing with average or when you are dealing with the mean. But do we have a graphical representation in Minitab where the confidence interval for median can be graphically represented? That is the purpose of this video. So I have the same set of data here. Now I click on graph and I'm going to select box plot. And many of you know the purpose of box plot. Many of you would have used box plot in the past. Even I have posted videos which was presented by my colleague Mr. Vijay Raghavan, professor of SRM University. So he has posted a video on how box plot will be used. However, the primary purpose of box plot is to understand within and across the group variation. So it tries to calculate the interquartile range and various other things. It helps us to identify whether there is an outlier or not. So all these things are calculated or graphically represented. But box plot have something else to offer, and that is what specifically we are going to see this time. So I select Taylor 1 data, I select Taylor 2 data, and now what I do is I click on data view, and here if you see median confidence interval box. So what we need to understand is there is a separate option in box plot where it creates a box, or it creates an upper bound and lower bound for the confidence interval for median, not for mean but for median. So I put a tick mark on this median confidence interval box, and then I say okay, then I click on OK. So now what you need to understand is, we all know in a box plot the horizontal line that we see here is actually your median, and in this case median is 6.795. However, the box that you see here is nothing but 95% confidence interval upper and lower bound for the given median, and here the lower bound is 6.47 for this particular data. And similarly, if you keep your mouse pointer on this particular graph, we will be able to find out the upper bound is 6.31 for the median confidence interval upper bound. So if you want to see whether these two confidence interval overlap or there is a gap, if we want to see that, what we can do is, again in Minitab we can press Ctrl E, and once we press Ctrl E, we will have this option called scale. So we can click on scale, we can go to reference line, and what we understood is 6.47, and the next one is 6.31. So 6.47 and 6.31, I say okay, and then I say okay. So what will happen is, you will have the lines plotted on the upper bound confidence interval of median of Taylor 1 data and lower bound confidence interval of median of Taylor 2 data, and still we see there is a gap. These two intervals do not overlap with each other. So like how we have used interval plot to see whether the confidence interval of mean is overlapping, in this video we have seen that, and we see there is a gap. Similarly, we will be able to analyze median, whether the confidence intervals of median is overlapping or not, with the help of box plot. So friends, the purpose of me posting this video is, sometime back I explained about interval plot and there were questions on interval plot works fine for mean, but however is there a different way by which the confidence interval of median can be graphically analyzed? So this was a question from some of the audience, and because of which I decided to do a comparison video of interval plot as well as box plot. And by drawing interval plots and box plot for the same set of data, in this video we were able to see how the confidence interval of mean can be compared using interval plot, and confidence interval of median can be compared using box plot. I hope this video was useful. You will be able to use both interval plot as well as box plot in your project presentations to study the confidence interval for mean and median. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching this video. And for more videos on Minitab tools, techniques, Lean Six Sigma related videos and quality management videos, please subscribe our channel and follow our channel. Thank you.